Saelah looked through her jewelry box for one of her favorite pairs of earrings. The stone in them would match perfectly with the color of the blouse she wore. Which of your handsome alphas are you going out with this evening? She turned to find Danny leaning against her doorframe. They aren't my alphas yet, and as one, can I have one? But Suguru, he's the one I haven't met yet. Well, you get to today if you want. He's picking me up in a few minutes. I can't wait. It's only right that I meet all of your future mates. Don't get ahead of yourself. They're just courting me right now, she responded, turning her attention back to the jewelry box. Speaking of which, when do they plan to put courting marks on you? Denny asked. She shrugged. I don't think they will since we have the same secondary gender, and I'm fine with that. I don't need marks to know that they're courting me, unless they just want to. So where's Suguru taking you? I'm not sure. He didn't tell me, just to dress casually. She found the earrings she was looking for and put them on. Well, you look gorgeous, and I hope you have a great time. Same thing as before. I'll be at work when you get back, but text me and let me know when you make it home. I will, she promised, reaching for the box of scent patches on her dresser. Are you going to wear those? Denny inquired. They know what you smell like, and they like it. Your scent's also nice, and everyone else will think so too. But even if they don't, the people who are important do. You're right. Honestly, I grabbed them on autopilot. It's a habit that I know I'll have to work myself out of. I've still been wearing them over the past week. I understand that you might still be a little self-conscious, but try not wearing them at least when you're with them. Sometimes it can take someone a little while to get acclimated to a scent. Saelah nodded, knowing that he was right, and decided that she wouldn't wear them, at least when she was with the three of them, but it wouldn't hurt to keep a couple in her purse in case something happened. The doorbell rang, and her friend led her past to lead the way down the hall. She quickly slipped her feet into her shoes, checked the display to ensure that it was Suguru, and opened the door. He was dressed in another short-sleeved shirt that showed the tattoos on his arms, and he held a wooden tulip in his hand. She didn't miss the way his eyes fell to her naked scent glands briefly before he handed her the flower. Saelah smiled at him. You made this, didn't you? I did. Thank you. It's beautiful. That's you, little one. You look gorgeous. His eyes shifted over her head, and Saelah looked over her shoulder to find Denny standing there. Suguru, this is my friend Denny. Denny, this is Suguru. Nice to meet you, Suguru said. Likewise, Denny responded. I'll be damned, Saelah. You caught yourself a pretty boy, a gentleman, and a bad boy. The best of all three worlds. Sailah's eyes widened as Suguru laughed. Please never tell Satoru you think he's a pretty boy. He doesn't need the ego boost, Suguru said. My lips are sealed, Danny promised. You two have fun, he then said. Saelah placed the tulip on the floating shelf under the mirror and exited the apartment. I can't believe he thinks I'm a bad boy, Suguru said teasingly as they headed to the train station. I mean, can you blame him? Saelah asked. It's the tattoos, he replied. And the piercings, and the hair, and the eyes, and the aura. Suguru snorted. So everything. Saelah shrugged. Maybe, but I know that you're not. Well, not completely, she teased. When they made it to the train station, they stepped onto the train that had just arrived. It was packed and there weren't any seats, so they stood beside one another, holding onto the safety handrails. A man stepped beside her to take the available spot, and from the corner of her eye, she saw his nostrils flare. A second later, he was leaning into her space, his nose too close to her neck for comfort. Suguru wrapped his arm around her and pulled her to stand in front of him. Back away from my girlfriend. You're too close, he said, and Saelah sent spike with pleased pheromones that she immediately tried to temper down. But from Suguru's soft chuckle and the way he pulled her closer, she knew she hadn't succeeded fast enough. The man apologized and moved to another available spot a little ways down, but Suguru didn't release her, and they took the rest of the train ride that way. They stepped off the train once they made it to their stop, and Suguru draped his arm over her shoulders. He steered her out onto the sidewalk, and they walked a few blocks in comfortable silence. When they reached their destination, Saelah looked up at the building. They were at an aquarium. He paid for their admission, and once they stepped inside, her eyes widened at what she saw. They were at an art aquarium. She felt like a kid in a candy store. The further they got inside, the more they moved from exhibit to exhibit, she was in awe. Whoever had the idea of combining beautiful fish, flowers, pretty soft lights, and intricate structures together as an attraction was a genius. It was such a serene combination. The experience was new for her, and she drank it all in as Suguru allowed her to lead him around by the hand. Once they left the art aquarium, she told him which exhibit was her favorite and asked which was his as they walked a few blocks to a nearby barbecue restaurant. Inside, they sat across from each other, and once they'd chosen their meats inside, Saelah sparked up a conversation as they waited. How's the custom piece you're working on coming? Challenging, but in a good way. It's the first dollhouse I've built and a present from a great-grandmother to her great-granddaughter. It's a replica of the house she grew up in, so I'm taking my time to make sure I get it right. You'll do a great job. Everything you make is amazing, she complimented. Will you take a picture of it when it's finished so I can see it? Thank you, little one. Yeah, I will. Or you can come by and see it in person before I have it delivered. Their items were delivered to the table and Suguru began to cook the meat. What's something you've always wanted to try? That's a good question. He thought about it for a moment. Snorkeling. I suppose I could have by now, but I never get around to it. What about you? Snorkeling sounds like fun. I want to try those inflatable balls you get inside and play on the water in. Zorbing, he asked. That Saelah responded. I can never remember what it's called. We can do both of those on the same day, he said, flipping the slices of meat. The four of us can make a day or weekend trip out of it. Saelah smiled. She liked the sound of a whole day or weekend with the three of them. That sounds nice. We can talk about it and figure out the logistics. When the first round of meat was finished, Suguru gave her the first serving before putting more on. They spent the next 2 hours enjoying dinner and a couple of drinks before walking hand in hand to the station. They found 2 seats on the train, her hand still in his, and as she crossed one leg over the other, their hands resting in her lap, the scent glands on their wrists rubbed together, and their combined scent had her pausing. Sure, their scents had lingered around each other the entire evening, but they hadn't blended this way, hadn't mixed fully because that only happened when scenting someone. Her cinnamon and jasmine mixed with his leather and patchouli, melding into one fragrance. She liked it. Saelah couldn't help but wonder how her scent would blend with Satoru and Kento's. When they got off at their stop, Suguru walked her home. Would you like to come inside? She asked. He hesitated, and she said, Denny is working right now. She assumed that was where his hesitation lay, not wanting to impose. Let me take a rain check, he asked, and Saelah nodded. Suguru leaned down and kissed her before taking a step back. Good night, little one. Good night. Text me when you get home. Saelah was sure they'd tire of her requesting that, but she wanted to know they made it safely. I will. She stepped inside and switched her shoes, picked up the wooden tulip from the shelf, and went down the hall to her bedroom. She put the tulip on her bookshelf with the candy flowers she gotten from Satoru and the rose she dried out from the bouquet she received from Kento, then sent a text to Denny that she'd made it home. Suguru moved around his kitchen the following morning, lost in thought as he made breakfast. His mind was on his date with Saelah, the same way it had been when he arrived home the previous night. She'd foregone her normal patches, and while it was what he wanted, to be able to smell her unfiltered, he had to restrain himself all night. Her scent called to his alpha, enticing them both. It was something that had never happened to him before. He smelled different scents every day, and never once had he come across one that tugged at him the way hers did. Then he'd smell the combination of their scents and felt the urge to rub his scent all over her, to have hers cover him. The mixture was intoxicating. When she'd invited him in, Suguru would be lying if he said he hadn't wanted to, but he knew that wasn't a good idea. While he knew she previously must have worn scent patches in her home because he hadn't picked up on her scent when he delivered her bookshelf, he assumed she hadn't that day and couldn't say what being enclosed in her scent would do to him. The effect it had on him wasn't normal. That much he knew, but he also knew he wasn't the only one. When she allowed them to smell her, all three of them had felt the aftermath of it long after she'd left, as they'd ventured to the apartment over the shop once Kento returned to discuss next steps. Suguru, I can't see you, Satoru complained, pulling him from his thoughts. He'd almost forgotten he was on a video call with him and Kento. Do you need to? He asked, but nonetheless moved the phone from where he had propped it while he prepped ingredients to face him at the stove. How did the two of you feel about a day or weekend trip to go snorkeling or water zorbing with Saelah? He asked, wanting to take his mind off last night or he would tune them out again. I could snorkel, Kento responded. Suguru was not surprised that he might not be interested in water zorbing. We can do that. Do you know when she wants to go? Satoru asked. She didn't say. I just mentioned it in passing and she said it sounded like fun and we could discuss it. Well, if we did a weekend trip, it would affect the two of you more, Kento pointed out. I don't work weekends, and unless a client has an emergency, Saelah doesn't really work them either aside from early some Saturday mornings with the time difference. Haruta is capable of working the shop on his own Saturday, Suguru pointed out, and if someone came in to submit a custom order, he could take it and Suguru could look it over when he returned. I don't have to work on Saturdays. I'll just take the day off. I am the boss, after all, Satoru said. Whether he was reminding them or himself, Suguru didn't know. I know she didn't specify when she wanted to go, but I suggest we do it before the kids are out on summer break, Suguru said, turning the stove off. We could go the weekend after my birthday if everyone's fine with that, Kento suggested. It'll keep Satoru from trying to force his shenanigans on me. Rude, Satoru responded, but it's your loss. Besides, Saelah has given me permission to plan something for her. Suguru took his plate and phone to the table, propping the latter up. Kento's birthday was in 2 weeks. That should be enough time for them to get everything planned. Let's add Saelah to the call and make sure that works for her, Satoru said. I'd like to give my team enough notice that they'll be without me. We can add her in a minute. I want to discuss something else first, Suguru said. When are we going to put courting marks on her? Typically, courting marks happens after the first courting date or gift, but their situation wasn't typical. Alphas also rarely received courting marks because they were the pursuers, but Suguru wanted to, felt like he had to. My alpha feels like the sooner the better, Kento said after a slight pause. I'm not sure why, but waiting too long doesn't appeal to me. Same, Satoru agreed. It's something else we can discuss with her when we call. Suguru nodded in agreement. Should we add her to the call now, or is there something else the three of us need to discuss beforehand? I think we're good, Satoru responded as Kento nodded. I'll add her to the call. Satoru's screen only went dark for half a minute, then he and Saelah both popped back up. Well, this is a great way to start a lazy Sunday, she said. Suguru chuckled. Is it now? Of course, 3 handsome men on my phone. That's the best way to start any day, she responded with a smile. What's up? She then asked. I was telling them about snorkeling and zorbing, Suguru answered. What did the two of you think? Saelah asked, addressing Satoru and Kento. We think it's a good idea, and Kento proposed going the weekend after his birthday to go before school is out, Satoru responded. Saelah nodded. Yeah, we can do that. Where would be the best place to go? Suguru thought about it. Kamakura would probably work best for what they wanted to do, and with them going before summer break, it wouldn't be as crowded. However, it drew a bit of a tourist crowd. Atami, he and Kento replied simultaneously. Okay. Do you want to leave Saturday morning and return that evening? Saelah asked. Yes to leaving Saturday morning, but returning Sunday afternoon or evening, Satoru said. While it wasn't a long train ride, fitting in snorkeling and zorbing would be fine, but if they were taking her there, they should show her a few attractions too. If that works for all of you, it works for me, Saelah replied. It does, Satoru nodded. I can plan everything. Please don't, Kento replied, and Saelah laughed. How about I help you, Satoru? She suggested, and the mentioned man agreed. We also wanted to talk about courting marks, Kento said. Do you want to do them? Saelah inquired. We do, if you'll let us, Suguru replied. I'm fine with that, she responded. I think we should do them at the same time, Satoru said. Well, we'll all be together when we go to Atami. We could do it then, Saelah responded. While Suguru would have liked to do it sooner, 2 weeks wasn't that long of a wait, and he could practice patience until then. That works, he replied. Okay, I'm going to binge watch a drama I found, and I'll talk to you all later. Satoru, I'll see you Tuesday, Saelah said. They said their goodbyes and she hung up. How exactly are we going to mark her? Satoru asked. 3 of us and 2 wrist scent glands. It's fine. 2 of us will share, Kento said. Well, considering I'm the oldest, the 2 of you can share, Satoru said. You're also the most immature, Suguru replied. Screw you, Satoru shot back. It doesn't matter where I put my mark as long as it's on her, Kento said. We could also let her mark us. Suguru and Satoru nodded in agreement. Again, not typical, but who cared? He spoke to them for a few more minutes as he finished his breakfast, then the 3 hung up. Suguru cleaned his kitchen before venturing into his living room to enjoy the rest of his Sunday. His outfit was a bit more subdued now that they had an official date to put their mark on her.